You're listening to the Intuitive Souls Podcast. I am your host, Erica Russo, psychic medium and intuitive development coach. This show is all about giving you the conversations, tools, and wisdom you need to live life the intuitive way. Whether you are waking up, wanting to develop your intuition and connection to spirit, or wanting to live a more magical life, I got you covered. I give you grounded, practical, and insightful content that helps you wake up, level up, and connect with your soul. I'm excited you are here. Let's wake up together. Hey guys, welcome to the Intuitive Souls Podcast. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. I'm really excited that the universe led you here. If you are an OG and you keep coming back and you keep learning and growing and listening to your intuition and trusting yourself and living your life with motherfucking intention, I love you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for listening. Every time I go ahead and press record to do an episode, I am always sitting in such a state of gratitude because, it's because of you guys listening that this podcast is still going strong and I get to sit here and talk about the things that I'm passionate about and the things that have helped me. And I really am so eternally grateful for this opportunity. If this podcast is helping you, if it's giving you the conversations, the tools, the aha moments that are helping you live a more balanced life, a happier life, a more intuitive life, I would be so grateful if you can head on over to iTunes and write a review. Those reviews allow me to get this podcast to the ears that need to hear it. And I think that we can all agree now more than ever, shit's crazy. And these conversations and this insight can really help a lot of people. Before you go ahead and click submit, make sure you send a photo or a screenshot to me at hello@ericarusso.co, no M, and I am going to send you a little something as a token of my appreciation. With that being said, oh my gosh, guys, if you've been listening for a while, you might remember an episode last year that I shared with everybody saying that I was retiring from one-on-one readings. And I got the nudge, I got the little wake-up call that I wanted to open a couple of sessions up for readings for 2 months only. And here's the thing, guys. In this episode, we're diving into who I am. I want to reintroduce myself to you guys. It's been a while. I know that many, many, many episodes ago, I shared with you my mediumship journey. But this is I just want to reintroduce myself. And you're going to learn why I do the things that I do and why my business has shifted so much. But with that being said, I am opening up single sessions for about 2 months. Okay. We have a 60-minute session where you get a soul contract reading, as well as some channeled, maybe mediumship, maybe psychic. I'm not sure. I'm just kind of opening up the door and seeing what has to come through for the greatest and highest good of you. And that's the 60-minute session, or there is a 30-minute soul contract reading where we're going to dive into your soul contract. If you're interested in either, I'm going to try to put the information in the show notes for you. If it's not there, head on over to my website at www.ericarusso.co to book your session. There are a limited number of spots available, and I'm really looking forward to connecting with everybody and just, meeting you virtually. I feel like I don't get to actually see the people who are listening to the podcast. So anytime I connect with someone who's like, I listen to your podcast, I'm like, oh shit, cool. Anyway, so with that being said, this is a reintroduction, guys. I don't think I've ever even had an introduction on this podcast. So what better way than to just fucking do it, right? So hello, how are you? My name is Erica. Erica Russo to be exact. I am 35 years old. I live in Connecticut. I am married. I have two boys. I have two basset hounds, and I am a psychic medium. I'm also an intuitive life and business mentor and author and obviously podcaster. And I want to share with you my journey in hopes that maybe it'll help you on yours. Okay. So, my spiritual awakening started or began in 2017. And I found myself feeling so isolated and alone. There was one particular time where I was sitting at somebody's house and we were all in her dining room drinking coffee, and they were just talking about things that I really wasn't resonating with anymore. And I remember feeling so incredibly alone at that time. And then everything just kind of took a turn for the worse. I started questioning not only the people that I had in my life, but I was questioning my beliefs and the way I was thinking and everything. And it was quite scary. So if you are balls deep in your spiritual awakening and you're listening to this right now, trust me, I've been there. It's fucking scary as shit, but I'm telling you right now, on the other side of this darkness, is the most incredible life you will ever experience in your whole life. Okay. So while I was going through this spiritual awakening and just feeling so lost and so disconnected, I remember having this thought of knowing that the life that I was living and the beliefs that I was holding and the person that I was no longer feasible. I couldn't bring her into the future. She had to stay where she was. And I had no idea what the future version of myself looked like. I had no idea what was going to happen. And I remember being so scared, but so excited at the same time. And I leaned into it. During my spiritual awakening, my husband was kind of going through his, and he was struggling with anxiety that he has struggled with all his life. And he went to therapists and he went to hypnotists, and nothing was really helping him the way he wanted it to, right? And I remember sitting there in our living room with a quiet mind and getting the idea of saying, why don't you try meditation? And he thought about it and then he did. He did his research, and through, thank God for YouTube and Google or whatever the fuck it is, he decided to start a daily meditation practice 2 times a day for 20 minutes a day. And within, I would say, 5 days, not only did he feel better, but I saw such a dramatic difference in his energy, in his personality, in his mental and emotional health, that I said to myself, if this is what meditation can do for him, what can meditation do for me? And that was the day that I decided to start my own meditation practice. And again, within 7 days, my mind almost felt like it was so, prior to meditation, it felt like my mind was just so overcrowded with weeds and grass and just so much shit going on. It was so busy in my mind. And then after I implemented a meditation practice every day, it was like this field was cleared, and it was such a different perspective. And I was able to control my thoughts and observe my thoughts every single day. And it was just such a different viewpoint. And I absolutely loved it. With that being said, I continued my meditation practice. And to this day, I still meditate every single day. And it's something that I feel that if you really are wanting to dive into spiritual development, personal development. I truly believe that in order to do that, you need to get out of your fucking monkey mind. And in order to do that, you need to have a meditation practice. You have to be able to just observe your thoughts rather than think your thoughts. You have to be able to detach from your life and your ego. And in order for you to do that, you have to be able to be the observer. And to be the observer, you need to be the observer. So, with that being said, where was I? Oh, yes. So, I started a daily meditation practice 2 times a day, 20 minutes each time. And within a couple weeks, I wanted to go from 20 minutes to 30 minutes, right? So, when I started going into 30 minutes, I was hitting different brain waves, I believe. And once I got into like the 30-minute meditation, spirit started showing up for me in my meditations. And I just thought it was very interesting. I didn't really question it or anything like that. I thought, oh, cool. My imagination was always pretty vivid. At first, again, I was like, oh, wow, this is crazy, right? But there was one particular event that happened when I was meditating where a man with a garden hoe came to me and he started pointing to where my neighbor lives. And I was like, okay, that's interesting, right? And he gave me information and everything like that. And I just kind of said, okay, well, thank you for stopping by. And a couple months after that, I connected with my neighbor and I remembered this experience that I had. So I asked her, hey, do you have a father or an energy and spirit or, someone in spirit that was a huge gardener? He was saying that he was your father. And she validated all of the information that her father shared with me in my meditation session. And I thought that was quite interesting. With that being said, I just shrug it off, right? And then a couple months later, I have to get an emergency tooth extraction. So that means I have to drive about 45 minutes down county to a place that will do emergency teeth extraction or wisdom tooth. It was a wisdom tooth, okay? So while I am waiting to get my wisdom tooth pulled, I am in, the waiting room and I get the download that my friend Mike is buried close by. I didn't actually go to his funeral. I did go to his wake, so I'm not sure where this was. So I went ahead and I, found out where he was buried, and sure than shit, he was 8 minutes away from this hospital. So I set the intention that after I got my tooth pulled, I would go and visit him. And when I found myself at this cemetery, there was about 1,000 graves, and there's no place where I can actually find out where he was buried. So I'm like, oh shit. Okay. Well, this is going to be interesting. So while I'm driving slowly around, I just ask him, I go, listen, Mike, tell me where to stop. And I stop at a particular place. And I get out of the car and I look around and it's a beautiful day. And I literally remember looking up to the sky and I say, Mike, I'm giving it 15 minutes. I'm going to search for your grave. And if I can't find it, I'm just going to send you love anyway. Okay. And it was in that moment that I started walking straight ahead of me. And to the right of me was a pathway that would go to 2 different lots of graves. And I'm walking down this pathway and I'm just going slowly. And I reach a particular line of graves. And sure than shit, I cannot move my feet anymore. Like I literally can't step in front of me. So I have a line of graves to the left of me and I have a line of graves to the right of me. And I go, okay, where am I going? So I turn to the right. And as I'm walking this line of graves, I'm looking at all the graves, and there's some graves from the 60s and then some graves from 2009. They're all scattered throughout. And I'm walking, and I find it. I find Mike's grave that he shares with his mother. And I just drop. I just completely drop to my knees, and my mouth is just wide open. And thank God that there wasn't anybody like around. And I just couldn't believe what happened. I couldn't believe what just went down. And I spoke with Mike, and I told him how thankful I was that he helped me find his grave, and how much he's missed. And I then left, and I shared this story with my husband, who said that's absolutely crazy. Like, whoa. And then I also shared this story with my good friend Joey, who was also friends with Mike. And he was kind of the one that sparked the idea of mediumship to me, because I told him about this crazy story, and then he goes with his New York accent, "What do you like, Teresa Caputo with something?" And when he said that, I was like, maybe I am. Maybe I am. So, with that being said, I decided I wanted to dive more into this. I wanted to discover more of this. I wanted to see if it was true, if I actually was a medium, if I did have the ability to connect with people that have crossed over. So, sure than shit, I find myself a month after that in a mediumship development workshop in a local new age store. And it was extremely validating. I was able to bring a lot of information. I got names, I got vivid imagery of places. And I remember driving home on a very windy road in New York that crosses over into Connecticut on my way home. And I remember thinking to myself, what the fuck do I do now? What do I do now? I had no idea. Well, this was, you know, and here's the thing, when it comes to mediumship or, psychic development, mostly mediumship, it's not a very Googleable thing. It's really not, because that's the first place I went to. And I couldn't really find anything. I couldn't find a mentor or a coach or something along those lines that could help me in this process. And so I set that intention. I asked the universe, I was like, universe, help me out, bro. Like, seriously, help me find a mentor, help me find a class so I can learn more about this, so I can become better. And I was on Facebook, and I'm scrolling, and I noticed that there was an ad to the right of my screen for meetup.com. And I just felt very pulled to it. So I went ahead and I clicked it. And in the search on Meetup, I put in psychic or mediumship. And sure than shit, a class every Monday at 7 p.m., about 45 minutes away from me, was being done. So I said, oh my God, okay, I guess I'm going. And for 1 year, or actually 14 months, every Monday I would drive down to White Plains, New York, and attend this psychic and mediumship development class. And I loved it. I learned so much. And during that process, I was able to, find more mediumship mentors and do more workshops and really just go all in. Okay. And within that 14 months, I decided to start offering readings. And then I expanded into mentoring others. And that's really it. That's really it. And through this journey, I've allowed spirit to guide me wherever it is, whether that is writing a book, whether that's starting the podcast. And it has been such an incredible experience. But something that I want to talk about that I do see that is very common is I think that anybody who has a soul, obviously has a yearning to connect deeper to it. They have a wanting of intuition in their life because intuition never guides us wrong. Intuition always brings us to the highest and greatest good, even if it doesn't necessarily feel like that, right? So if we all have it and it's all available to us, who doesn't want to develop it and use it and learn to trust it? But when I tell you, my business has expanded and, I started with mediumship readings and then I expanded into a monthly membership and then courses and then, full blown long term mentorship and all of that good shit. I need to say that when I decided to develop this, when I decided to go all in and really hone in on my psychic and mediumship abilities, I went all fucking in. So many people, I think, don't realize the work that is involved in this and the dedication that is required. It's like anything. If you want to lose weight, you have to be dedicated to eating healthy and going to the gym. If you want something bad enough, you're going to have to work for it. And when I tell you I worked really hard and I dedicated myself and I read and I meditated and I would make sure that I was doing psychic exercises each day, downloading ESP Trainer, which is a free app on my phone, and just really allowing it to be part of my life. That's how I have been able to get to where I am now. I went all in. If you're only interested in, maybe trying out a psychic development class and just seeing it, that's as far as you're going to get. Maybe you'll get a good hit. Maybe you won't. Maybe you'll get bored of it. Maybe it's not for you, and that's okay. But if your intention is to be a psychic medium, if your intention is to be of service, if you are wanting to shine your light, if you are wanting to be a channel for spirit communication, you have to work. You have to be dedicated to it. I can't begin to tell you how many workshops, how many exercises I have done, especially in the first year of development, to make sure that if I was going to claim to be a psychic medium, I was damn well a fucking psychic medium. And something that you're going to learn through your mediumship journey is that there are levels of mediumship. Not every medium is the same, and not every medium is developed in a way that's going to bring a lot of healing and a lot of evidence and validity to the reading. Okay. So when I was developing, I would watch Facebook Lives of other people that claimed to be psychic mediums because I was interested, right? And I was very taken back by the level of psychic and mediumship work that these people that were doing, live readings had. I was kind of shocked by it, to be completely honest. And if there's anything that I can tell you, and I think that any good medium will agree, is that it's fucking work. You have to put in an effort. You have to fucking show up. You have to sit in the power. You have to get outside of your comfort zone. You have to feel the fear and do it anyway. You have to show up to development circles where you don't know anybody just so you can gain the practice and the confidence that you need in order to be a really amazing light worker and psychic medium. And that's why I decided to start a monthly membership, because it requires, wanting to develop your gifts, it requires dedication and time, and you need to show up. Like, please don't go and fucking go to one psychic development circle and then claim to be a psychic medium. Please don't fucking do that. And I'm saying this because I've seen it done. Okay. You have to really want it. You have to work for it. And that is why that's why I started going into mentoring people and helping people as they were able to access their intuition and go deeper into their spiritual development. And maybe this is turning into a rant, but I don't really give a fuck. You have to want it. Okay. You have to want it bad enough. There are going to be times along your journey when it comes to your spiritual growth that you're going to feel like you've hit a plateau, just like anything in life. You're going to feel stagnant. You're going to feel like you're not getting anywhere. You have to prove to spirit that you are dedicated. Sometimes the universe is going to put things in your path, and they're going to put difficult things along the way to test you into how bad you really want to be a channel. How bad do you want this life? How bad do you really want to be this connected to spirit? Okay. I never gave up. And it was those people that I have mentored in the past that were consistent and took it seriously and continued to show up to circles time and time again, even when they were nervous. It was those who got outside of their comfort zone and said what was coming to their mind, even if their ego was questioning it. Those are the ones that I can honestly say are thriving now, that are excellent psychics, excellent psychic mediums. And it's like anything in life. What you put in is what you get back. Okay. And another thing that I started realizing was, I was doing readings, and as much as I loved connecting with people, I realized I wanted to give people more. I wanted to give people opportunities to shock themselves. I wanted to give people opportunity not just to, connect with spirit, but to heal and to grow and to learn. And that was a big reason why I stepped out of using the term readings, right? Because when you have a reading, a lot of people will come in and it's kind of like a dance monkey dance where they have a list of questions and they want it answered. And I'm not about that. Readings will only get you so far. I want to fucking help people trust themselves. I want people to realize their own power and their capability. I want to help people heal, because readings aren't necessarily going to get you to where you want to go. They're just not. A lot of the times they're used as a Band-Aid, and sometimes Band-Aids are good, but when you rely too much on those Band-Aids, healing doesn't happen, right? Sometimes when you get a wound, when there's an open wound and you just put some Neosporin and a Band-Aid on it, yeah, it'll feel better, but in order for it to actually heal, it needs air. It needs maybe some salt water. It needs to be able to scab over and get a little bit uncomfortable and maybe bleed a little. And I don't want to give Band-Aids. I really don't. I really don't. I never wanted to. I wanted to give you opportunity to show you that you are intuitive. You have this connection to your own soul. You have the capability to heal yourself. You have the capability to trust yourself. And I wanted to give people those experiences rather than tell them, oh, he's not your twin flame. Or, oh, yeah, you should buy this house. I just got over it. I was kind of over it. And now I am so much more gung ho about creating containers for people that want to heal, who want to grow, who want to shock themselves. That's what I am here for. And that's where I am now. And between, having my Mystic Mind, which is a very intensive mentorship program, and my private clients, and just everything that I'm offering, I'm here to hold space for you to do your own healing. I'm here to ask you questions that will trigger something within you. I'm here to create a protective and safe place for you to open up to your connection to source energy. That's what I'm here for. I'm not here to give you the answers. I'm here to create a space for you to go and get the answers yourself. And that's where I'm at. And that's really who I am. And that's all, folks, I guess. I don't know. This came into like a rant session, but I'm kind of here for it. So thank you guys for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for trusting your intuition. I'm excited for a lot of incredible new opportunities that are coming. And I'm just excited to be here. And I'm just so grateful for this opportunity. So thank you guys for being here. And that's it. I'll see you soon.